Hello, everyone. So, my name is Charlotte. I'm CEO of BWBE, aka Black Women for Black Excellence. And go ahead.
My name is Shayla, and I am the CFO of Black Women for Black Excellence. Just a little bit about us. We are a full-service business management company. We specify in helping startups for entrepreneurs, big businesses, small businesses, wherever you are in your stage, we can help. We we can go from social media, reputation management, website building. So everything that you would need to get your business going, we can help you with. So that's a little bit about us. I'm gonna give it back to Charlotte so we can get started here too.
Yes. Thank you for being patient with us. So pretty much this summit or conference is a series of summits, and we're going to do them quarterly. The next one will be in February, and we're going to focus on influencers of color and hopefully brands that are worthy and will give them their due. So with that being said, thank you again for coming. And we are going to get started in about 2 minutes with our first scheduled speaker. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank you.
So while I had this job, I was just thinking about all the stuff that I did in the past and whether or not I can do this for a living. And that's when I saw that other people out there were doing web design. They were setting up websites for people and making money off of that. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. But I think the biggest thing that I got from working in that organization was resiliency. Like that was one key thing that I am like forever grateful for from IC Stars. Basically what I did was because I was so used to resiliency and just trying to make it work while I'm falling, I took away my security blanket. I was like, good paying job, go away. I'm gonna do my business full time. And it was something. It was definitely a journey. And I remember staying up all night trying to get this thing going. And I want to say like 5 a.m., I get an email. What the F are you doing to my business? You are trash. You are fired. And I just completely broke down. I was ready to like throw away the business. I was just done. I was done. And that's when I ended up coming up with Code Burnout, because I just thought about how many people are in this like ball of stress, this like cycle of stress where we feel like we have to be running this race to get this money because we see these other people making thousands and thousands of dollars and we're stuck here in the like making pennies. The people wanted it. People wanted Code Burnout to happen. So I started building that out. I started working on the podcast. I started interviewing people and I started just putting it out there. There are 2 things on this website that gets me clients. 2 things. And one of them is not even on this screen. This bot right here is the first thing. This gets whoever's viewing my page, it connects to me right away. It goes to my iPad. It goes to my phone. People ask me questions in here. And as soon as they realize that it's actually me and it's not a bot, even though it says like reply to bot, as soon as they realize that it's actually me, that's when we start engaging and having a conversation. And next thing you know, consultation project gets started and then I'm working with them. And then the second thing is usually people don't go to this first. Oh, it's not even clicking. See, that's how long it's been since I've been on here. Okay, there we go. So this is the second thing. So usually people don't get to this unless I actually give it to them directly. Usually people come find me and they do XYZ, and then I send them this link. And this is just my portfolio of stuff that I've worked on in the past and what the experience was like and what people needed and how I helped them get the stuff that they needed.
But the three things that we're going to talk about today that I am just so excited to share with you. Number one, the biggest difference between making $1,000 a month and $100,000 a month, and the crucial shift that will make that change for you. The second is a major reason why 45% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, and how to be a success story from day one. Okay. And the third thing that we're going to cover today is the secret cash flow killer that's rarely talked about, and how to flip the script on it so that does not have to be your story. So some juicy stuff we're going to cover today. So really growing up, the most vivid memory that I have of money is the word no. No, you can't have that. No, I'm not buying you that. No, don't ask me for anything. Okay, let me know in the chat if you can relate. Fast forward about 15 years, I had a mentor who taught me about investing in real estate. And when I sold my first property, I made 6 figures in a day. It was so much money, I didn't need to work for the next 4 years. So I retired from my job and decided to start a business. And that is when I discovered the thing that lottery winners and NFL players and NBA players all discover when they make millions and then a few years later they go broke and everybody wonders what happens, which is if your mental and emotional relationship with money does not support your financial goals, either you will not get there or you will, and then you will subconsciously find a way to set your money on fire. However, the 4 components of our relationship with money, of the 4, strategies for making money is just one of them, right? And the other ones we keep neglecting. So today I want to make sure that we talk about the crucial components of our relationship with money that really determine your financial success. All right, the second is your money container. Your money container is your subconscious mental and emotional capacity for money. So there is actually only so much money, not that your bank account can hold, but that your brain and body, like your nervous system and your mental and emotional capacity for money, there's only so much that you can hold. And that number, the amount of money that you can really subconsciously allow into your life, is subconscious, so you don't know it, right? You don't necessarily know how much it is, although you can take some time to kind of figure it out and get a sense of it. But the problem is, if you go past the amount that you are subconsciously able to hold, you will find a way to make sure that all the extra or excess money leaves your life, which is really what I was doing, or almost did, right? When I almost blew through all my money trying to buy a house I didn't actually need.
I'm the greatest of all time when it comes to pitching. Yes, I'm black on both sides, and I love it. Melanin magic. Let's do this. So, ladies, I'm sure all of you have heard that we're in the midst of a pandemic, an economic downturn, and social unrest. But let me tell you, what time is it really? It's time for us to shake things up. It's time for us to make a change. It's time for no more business as usual. In fact, it's business unusual. So many people are shrinking right now. I want you to go full force. I want you to be visible. So I just wanted to share with you, what did I do different in my pitch that most people don't do? If you change your language, you change the game. Had I said, oh, we create products, we create intimate apparel for plus size women, nobody would have cared. So think about that, ladies. How are you pitching your business? How are you pitching to prospects, to media, to investors, potential clients, customers? How are you pitching it? Are you doing it the boring way that you see on Google? Oh, who I am, what I do, target market. Hang it up, flat screen, Nicki Minaj. Hang it up. Don't want to hear that. But when I say raise your hands if you want to be a bad bitch with a power pitch, some of y'all may be offended. You're not my client. It's okay. And once you start to learn that not everybody is your client, as the first woman talked about, not everybody's your client. So stop acting like they have to be. Think about that. Just because you've been successful in corporate America doesn't mean you'll be a successful entrepreneur. We all got that in the E-myth. So what can you do to attract your target market to you? When I wrote this book, so many people wanted to play respectability politics with me and say, no one's going to buy the book. This was a #1 bestseller, billboard in Times Square, reviewed by Forbes magazine, Upscale magazine, Black Enterprise magazine, a host of other publications. And no, I didn't pay for none of it. When you know that you are very clear on who you want to work with, everyone else can fade to the wayside. Not everybody is your client. And when you're pitching, you're going to start to see that. Who resonates with you? If people want to be traditional and do the same bureaucratic stuff, that's not my client. My client's the type that wants to roll in, whether you're an introvert or not. Whether you're knock me down 9 times, I'm going to get up on 10. That's the kind of woman I want to work with. She been knocked down. She been, like, listen, I want you to fight for your way to the top. This is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy.
And today, it's my pleasure to be here to introduce you all to Elevate. Now, I call Elevate a framework of growth-enabling behaviors I've developed to help women expand their thinking, living, leadership, and impact. And I'm so excited to be here on the line with folks supporting Black and Brown businesses as we walk through Elevate. Oprah Winfrey said, "You don't become what you want, you become what you believe." And so to expect is to believe something is likely to happen. And so, ladies, I want to ask everybody on the line today, what are you believing when you are faced with new opportunities or challenges? What's the story you're telling yourself? Do you expect to win or do you expect to fail? All right? Because again, you project what you expect. And so either way, you're going to be right. So it's important that you believe that you have everything that you need to succeed. Nikki Giovanni said, "Once you know who you are, you don't have to worry anymore." Soak that in for a moment, because that's really, really powerful. And I want you to also think about this. Legacy is not something you leave for people. It's something you leave in people. And so I want you to really think about today, what do you want to leave in people? Don't know about you, but that is my forever first lady, for real, all right? And what she said was, there is grace in being willing to know and hear others. Now, this is really, really important because as human beings, it's not always our, second nature to really put ourselves in the shoes of other people to try to understand their experiences. We're focused on our own experience, our own journey, right? But I want to share with you that empathy is a bridge builder, it's a connection creator, and it's a relationship repairer. Now, Shirley Chisholm, for those of y'all who are into hip hop, rap, and all of that, let me tell you, Shirley Chisholm was an original savage, okay? If you don't know who Shirley Chisholm was, she was an activist and politician. She was the first African-American woman elected to the Congress. And oh, by the way, in 1972, Shirley Chisholm ran for president. And do you know what her campaign slogan was? It was unbossed and unbought. This is a woman who used her voice. And the quote I featured from Shirley Chisholm is, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, well, you better bring a folding chair." And that's also a nod to Shirlette and Shayla and the Welcome to the Table virtual summit. But I thought this quote right here was so appropriate. Make sure your voice is heard. Y'all know Ava DuVernay, right? Filmmaker, outspoken activist. And what Ava said is figure out what you need to do to be the heroine of your own story. And so Precious told us earlier today that a lot of us are out here playing small in these streets. I love the way she put that, right? And she's so right, y'all. Amplify means to expand or magnify the size or effect of something. And this is really important that we have this conversation because so often, many women, myself included, many people, all right, myself included, have a hard time owning just how amazing and talented we are, right? I grew up hearing things like, oh, don't brag, don't toot your own horn. And you know what? I internalized these things. And it's taken me years to realize that if we don't recognize and acknowledge and talk about our own greatness, how can we expect others to do it? Okay? There is a gift in everything if you just choose to see it. But the other thing I want to leave you with when we talk about how we can transcend and rise above the adversity and the loss and the hard times that are certain to come our way in this life, right? I want you to think of a miracle that you've witnessed before, okay? A miracle. And I'm asking you to think about a miracle because I want you to use this as evidence the next time something, comes your way, the next time the universe delivers a gut punch to you. Think about the miracle because you are going to use this to help you get through and over that next hurdle. Now, the very last thing I want to talk to everybody about today, and this is really why we are together today for this conference. It's why we're here. And this is such an important message because all of the presenters have shared some really important information with everyone today. They've shared some great experiences. They've dropped some wisdom and some gems. But guess what? It all comes down to this. None of it really matters if we don't use it and share it to make ourselves and other people stronger and better.
How to balance your work life or your entrepreneurship life and your family. I am a wife and a mother of an almost 9-year-old and a 10-year-old boy and girl, but I'm also a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an auntie. I have a ton of nieces and nephews on both my side and my husband's side. I'm a volunteer and an advocate and a server in the community. And don't forget that we are real people. I am a real person. I am Syndy first, before I'm an entrepreneur, before I'm a wife, before I'm a mother, before I'm a friend. And I want you all to understand that if you don't take care of yourself first, then you won't have enough left to give to anyone else. Okay, first, number one, an electronic calendar is a must. I choose Google because Google, if anything crashes, a phone crashes or anything, is still going to be with me, whether I'm in the States or if I am out of the country or whatever. Next, business calendars for clients to schedule their sessions, their appointments, their consultations, etc. is a must. I'm going to give you all my few tools that I use for my business later, but Calendly is who I use. I know there's Acuity and there's a few other ones out there. Calendly, I don't like a lot of complicated tech and tools and things like that. So Calendly is very user-friendly for me, and it syncs with my Google Calendar. And I input my office hours, and that's it. And I'm going to talk to you about setting the tone and setting the expectations in just a minute. But have that business calendar as well that has all of your services. Set it up real good with the description so people know exactly what it is. There are a lot of times I go to people's calendars. Maybe someone referred, like, you need to check so-and-so out. I go to their Instagram. I really can't follow exactly what they do. Or I'll go to a calendar link and there's these sessions on here or these products and services, but I really don't understand what comes with it. So if the more that you do up front and break it down for people, the better and less questions that you'll have on the back end. If someone books a session, you want them to know, or books a product or a service, you want them to know what it is, so they're not emailing you or messaging you, calling you, texting you or whatever about it. No one else, and especially my clients, will not dictate how I manage my time. Become masters of time management. Okay. One of the things that I do is I check my emails first thing in the morning, one time in the middle of the day, and unless I'm looking for something particular, it's in the morning. I pick a time in the middle of the day, and one more time late evening, about 6, 7 o'clock. After that, I might look at it, I might see something pop up, so it'll be in my head and in my radar for the next day. But if someone sends me something urgent, or I'm, a part of a few organizations, and I'm the secretary of one of the organizations, and they think they can send me things like, can you email this out to everybody? No, I cannot.
But I'm going to talk with you about 3 key elements. Know the difference. It's okay to feel and remain teachable, if that's okay. I firmly believe that we have to know the difference between different areas in EEO. Let me just tell you a little bit about my background, because I believe that's very important when you're talking to people. They have to know a little bit about you before you just start talking to them. So I started my career in EEO about a long time ago. And I started working for the Department of Defense. And I worked my way up, started as a EEO analyst. And that means just assisting with processing EEO claims. And then I became an EEO specialist. And I began to notice one key thing, that the number one reason why people were filing complaints was because there was a lack of communication. When I sat in the room, because we always want to resolve issues at the lowest level possible, I noticed that when an employee was filing a complaint against a supervisor, yes, it may have been about a performance evaluation, or because about maybe, let's say, retaliation. But the heart of the issue, it always seemed to be there was a communication issue at the heart of the complaint. But let me just tell you what EEO, equal employment opportunity, actually is. It is the enforcement of the laws to prevent employment discrimination in the workplace. And the laws state if you have 15 or more employees, that you are mandated to do certain things. Now, it differs in obviously different countries, but in my book that I just put out, I had an amazing pre-sale that I was fortunate enough to be on ABC News on Thursday. You can go to my website to learn more about that. I'm going to talk more about that in detail, what that looks like for you as far as laws, policies, and regulations. I map all of that out in the book. But EEO is law. People think they can get around it. It does not. The ADA, we're celebrating the anniversary this year. 30 years, that's amazing. Since in 1990 is when it was signed into law. And then it was amended to include more individuals with disabilities. And affirmative action, people think that affirmative action they have an old school, let's just say, definition of what affirmative action is. They think that it gives people of, I believe, color the rights to go into doors where they're not qualified. But that's not what affirmative action actually is. Affirmative action is the effort to achieve equality in the workplace through outreach and eliminating barriers in employment. So I would just challenge you, each one of you watching this, what you may think is just you being curious, just wanting to know. Think about if you were in that position, how would you were in the reversal role? Would you want someone to ask you those very intrusive questions? I've been told before that, you don't look disabled. Why are you parking in that parking spot? I think a lot of you are familiar with the terms microaggressions, and a lot of times it's directed at race, but it can be directed at ableism as well.
My first question for everyone participating today is, what does Black exceptionalism mean to you? While I was writing this speech and coming up with ideas to present to you all, I asked that question to those close to me, and the answers I received were the gold standard: wealth, a voice that is heard when they're at the table, street credibility, or someone who's generally respected in the community. All those things are true, and I would like to say that while some Black people really work arduously over long periods of time to set themselves apart, and I'll include myself in that group of individuals, we do sometimes end up alienating ourselves within the Black community. That can look like individuals in our community saying things to us like, oh, you think you're better than me, or you're so bougie, or you're so stuck up, you're not down to earth. And that's not necessarily true. I think that the alienation is largely due to everyone's desire to attain a differing set of goals and aspire to a certain level of education or a certain level of wealth or things that are important to them as an individual. What Black excellence or Black exceptionalism looked like was largely based on the media and television. As an only child, I spent a lot of time alone, so I would watch shows like The Cosby Show or Living Single, and I really found myself aligning with Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad's character on The Cosby Show, and also with Khadijah James, which is obviously Queen Latifah's character on Living Single. And I really felt like if I worked hard enough and did the things I needed to do, that I could be kind of like a hybrid of the two of those. Well, fast forward about 18 years later, I'm not exactly either one or that hybrid that I thought I would be. While I am a business owner and I am married and I am a soon-to-be mom, I don't necessarily consider myself either of those characters. Of note, I have had quite a few struggles on my path within social engagement within the Black community, as well as during my professional career. Have you been told that you think you're better than someone or that you're not Black enough? And an even deeper question is, why does Black exceptionalism have to look only one way to certain people? It can be any version of that. Everyone can be exceptional in their own way and Black in our own way. There's not one marker that determines what makes someone an exceptional Black person or what doesn't. The flip side of the coin is, in this situation, outside of the Black community, those that work so hard to attain goals of higher education, right? We go after our master's degree after we've graduated with our bachelor's, or we go for our doctorate, or we go for certifications and things that we feel are going to set us apart within the job market, realistically. Or we also go after, reaching the goals of home ownership or wealth or education, like I mentioned, or anything else that's really important to us that we feel is going to cost us the opportunities that we are going after. We do that in hopes that white people in the world will see us as less threatening and will trust us and give us access to those very resources and opportunities that they've had since birth.
I don't care if you've been in business for 20 years or if you've been in business for 20 seconds. There are a lot of foundational things that I see a lot of female entrepreneurs not nailing. And so today we want to get to the bottom of it. We want to get each and every one who is here listening under the sound of my voice, right? I want everyone to get to the place where you are not on a bus called the struggle bus, where you're not stuck, where you're no longer confused, where you're not overwhelmed. If I have to yank you in this session off that struggle bus, if I have to pull you off the exhaustion where you're exhausted and you're feeling burnt out, that's what I'm here to do. I want to activate each and every person here today. How many of you all know that your self-worth is connected to your ability to charge what you're worth confidently, right? Your self-worth is connected to your ability to charge what you are worth, what your bankable gift is worth. Your self-worth is directly connected to your freedom metric. It's directly connected to your bankable goal that you want to hit every single month, right? Now, let me ask you all a question. I want you to type into the comments, what have you been brought to this earth to do, right? What is your bankable gift? What is it that you know how to do better than anybody else on this world, in the world? Something that might take me 200 years to be able to do. Here's the thing. How worthy and how powerful, hear me out, y'all. How worthy and how powerful do you think that your bankable gift truly is? Charlotte, how much do you think that helping people cope with anxiety and depression, how much do you think that that's worth? Right? What is the value that you can place on that? Okay? Because when I get you to the place where you understand that what you do and the things that you do better than anybody else is locked into your value and locked into your self-worth, is where we can begin to see some shifting in your life. If you don't know the path that only a girl like you, Charlotte, only a girl like you, Arlene, Tristan, only gals like you can pull people out, then it's going to be hard for your market to value the service, the products, and the programs that you're offering to them. So today, I want you to start thinking, right? I want you to start thinking. If you don't value your gift, then I'm here to tell you that you're not charging enough. If you don't value your gift, hear me out. Somebody has to write this one down. If you don't value your gift, then I'm here to tell you that you are not charging enough, right? And because you don't charge enough, and this may not be you, maybe I'm talking to the girl down the street, but if you don't charge enough, then a lot of times you're not going to be taken seriously, right? And I want each and every one of you to be taken seriously. Yes, Arlene, bankable. Your gift is bankable, all right? Your business has to be bankable. If it's not bankable, we're going to give it to somebody else, right? We're going to give it to somebody else, but it is so important for you to find a bankable gift, right? One that's going to speak for you long after you're gone. It's very, very important. And when you connect that to your business, the sky is the limit. Supernatural things start to happen.